Welcome to Cyberplanet Productions. Today I will be giving an introduction to the Cybermen, who they are, what they are, and how they came to be the most terrifying and chilling species that we know and love today. A Cyberman is a technologically converted human being that feels no emotions. However, there are not one but two versions of the Cybermen. The original Cybermen, known as the CyberMondans, originated from the twin planet of Earth called Mondas. The planet was identical to Earth, apart from all the continents were upside down. The species that first inhabited Mondas were known as the Mondasians, exactly the same as human beings. However, when the moon was created, Mondas was dislodged from its orbit, sending the planet out of our solar system to hurtle through space. After the planet was dislodged from its orbit, the Mondasians lived either in underground cities or cities protected by large domes to protect themselves from the harsh environment on the surface being nearly inhospitable to all life. To survive, the committee, the 20 greatest minds of Mondas, which later formed the Cyberplanet, decided to build a propulsion system to alter Mondas' orbit back to our solar system. But to pilot the propulsion system required people, and with no one being able to leave their protected cities, the committee decided to augment these chosen individuals. The augmentation process involved removing organs, flesh, and bones and replacing them with plastic, metal, and machinery. However, like every project, their first attempt soured and made the selected people go insane with pain, driving them to the point of death. So to rectify this, the committee decided to remove the people's emotions with an emotional inhibitor. The emotional inhibitor switches off all emotions in a person's brain, making them unable to feel pain, happiness, hate, or even love. And from that, the very first Cybermen were born. After those first Cybermen were created, one of the city's domes was breached and needs to be fixed immediately, otherwise the people that live there will not survive. At the same time, however, their propulsion system was also ready to be tested and required power. With both projects requiring large amounts of power and the capacities were only at 75%, the committee faced an impossible decision. Either sacrifice a species or never begin the journey home. However, the committee decided to activate their propulsion system, and to save the species from extinction, every man, woman and child would be converted into a Cyberman. And soon, the original Mondasian species became extinct, with every person being converted into an empty, soulless shell. Eventually, Mondas did return to our solar system in December of 1986 in the 4-part episode The 10th Planet. The Cybermen deployed a small task force to deal with a space tracking station in Antarctica, who had just found out that Mondas was disrupting a routine space mission with its gravitational pull. The Cybermen were intent on destroying the Earth so Mondas could take its place and convert every single person on the planet into a Cyberman. With help from the First Doctor and his companions Ben and Polly, the task force of Cybermen were destroyed. Mondas, on the other hand, destroyed itself as it absorbed too much energy from the Earth and collapsed under the sheer strain. The other version of the Cybermen, the CybusMen, or otherwise known as Pete's World Cybermen, featured in the 2-part story Rise of the Cybermen Age of Steel, were created through a man by the name of John Lumick, who founded and ran Cybus Industries on Parallel Earth. John Lumick was a terminally sick man on the verge of death, but to survive he built his own life support system to his wheelchair. But the idea to survive and live and defy death soon became an obsession, taking up most of his life's work. After many failed attempts by using the homeless as test subjects, Lumick has finally perfected the first Cyberman design. To convert a human into a Cyberman, unlike the CyberMondans, Lumick developed a metal exoskeleton with an artificial central nervous system threaded throughout so that it responds like a living thing. With the metal exoskeleton complete, the human brain would be surgically removed from the host and placed into the suit where certain chemicals would sustain the brain and keep it alive. However, Lumick faced the same issue as the committee, with the conversion process driving people mad and to the verge of death. So to combat this, he also developed his own version of the emotional inhibitor, to nullify the brain of all emotions. After his first Cybermen were deemed success, John Lumic appealed to the president of the parallel UK to allow him to let his species begin. No matter how much Lumic begged, the president would not allow the Cybermen to become a reality and replace humanity, considering it unethical and obscene. Even though Lumic was not given permission, he deployed his first Cybermen and assassinated the president. With no one to stop him, Lumic activated the earpods, phones that could be placed in a person's ear which he created, with a signal that controlled the entire population of London, and forced them to march into his factory to be converted. During the earpod activation, one of Lumic's closest henchmen, Mr. Crane, tried to assassinate the man. Unfortunately, with Lumic being guarded by Cybermen, the assassination failed and Mr. Crane was ultimately killed, although Lumic's life support systems were severely damaged. Nevertheless, the Cybermen decided to convert Lumic even though he said he would only be converted with his last breath. After about 6,500 people had been converted, the newly cyber-converted Lumic, now the Cyber Controller, finally faced the 10th Doctor. During their face-off, the Doctor deactivated the emotional inhibitor, driving all the Cybermen insane, and killed them all. The Doctor escaped from Cyber Control with Rose and Pete Tyler and hung onto a ladder from a Zeppelin, but the Cyber Controller also chased after them and tried to kill all three of them. With the use of the Doctor's sonic screwdriver, part of the ladder snapped apart, with Lumic falling into the factory to burn with his creations. Even though Mondas fell and Lumic was killed, both versions of the Cybermen still survived in small groups and would later face the Doctor throughout his journeys in time and space. Which version of the Cybermen do you prefer, the CyberMondans or the CybusMen? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, I have been Cybermen Productions, thank you for watching, please feel free to like and subscribe if you want to see more Cybermen content, and also comment on what you'd like to see a video on next.